If you're curious to see what's going to happen with Magic the Gathering in the coming year, all you need to do is look at the quarterly results that are provided by the company Hasbro to their investors. In this video, we are going to discuss what was said, and better yet, what was not said. And of course, I'm going to toss in some opinions about what I think is going on behind the scenes and what we can look forward to for future Magic sets. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me today on the video as we discuss Hasbro's Q1 quarterly result. And there's a lot of information in there. There's a lot going on, a lot of what they say and what they don't say. Even how they talk can give you a little bit of an insight into what's going on inside the company. Now, they have to give all kinds of information out to their investors so they can make informed decisions whether to keep with the stock or not. They discuss the problems with the company, what's going good, what's going bad, but also the solutions. And of course, they want to get investors involved and get people buying the stock, so they'll talk about the highlights. Cool things that are coming down the road to really get people invested in wanting to buy the stock. It is a publicly traded company after all, and I know many of the viewers on this channel do own stock in the company. So let's start with the beginning. First off, they break into the whole beginning of what's going good. Right? The highlights. Here's all the good stuff. Now, they're really overall down. They're down like 24%, but it's not as bad as they say because they said, look, we're down 24% because of the E1 Entertainment Division, which they had liquidated and finally got off the books. But when they kind of took that out and factored in everything, it's like minus 9%, which is way better than the analysts expected. They're like, wow! Like Wall Street and stuff love this stuff. The stock went up a lot today. It looks like, Chris Cox is the golden boy again. He saved them lots of money and things are going the right direction. His leadership is appreciated. And from a company standpoint, from an investor standpoint, it looks like he's doing all the right moves on the chessboard. Things are lining up nicely. I can't fault him for any of that stuff, from having to cut jobs to tightening up production runs, and not just for Magic, but of course for all the other products they run, making sure they license out IPs like Dungeons and Dragons all the way through to movies, television, commercials, toys, which of course they own a lot of them and get the rights to automatically, all the way through to board games. They have a lot of stuff on the go. Now, when they got rid of E1, they actually started making money because some of the IPs that they did cherry pick out, like Peppa Pig, like Daddy Pig, the pig family, those guys there are making them money. They're licensing things, they're putting toys out there, they're putting their faces on stuff. That brings in money. When they do that for Transformers and all those kind of things like G.I. Joe, the Pulse Entertainment Division, it makes them money. They retooled the marketing team. So they're getting better bang for their buck, and they're seeing better cost average returns. This is all good news. But honestly, most of you don't care. This isn't what you came to talk about. You want to talk about Magic. You want to talk about how it's going to affect you going forward in the game. And that's where I completely understand, and I want to nail down on this. So, Wizards of the Coast isn't just Magic. Of course, you guys know this. It's D&D and a whole bunch of other things now. It's got digital gaming and stuff. So, when they broke everything down, yes, Magic the Gathering is still growing. Chris makes a few comments saying, oh, we're back to pre-pandemic levels. We're back to, everything's kind of back to how it was, which is great. But the overall sales growth is only 3%. Now, that's not horrible, but that's not great. Okay? And he kind of glossed over it pretty quickly in his comments. The questions he got directed and answered to, okay? You could see there's like a pause in his voice, like we are cautiously optimistic. And the Fallout sales, and I'm a bit of a fanboy is what he was saying, they're some of the highest they've ever been. There was a lot of pauses and inflections, and it lets you know that he's kind of searching for the answer because they're actually not sure exactly how well it's going to do going forward. They don't have a big year. Now, yeah, they got Modern Horizons 3, but he said they're being cautious about Modern Horizons 3 and the expectations. That's a little insight right there, isn't it? When they talked about the Marvel and the upcoming stuff for 2025, that's far away, but he said it was going to kick, it's going to kick butt. It's going to be awesome. But that's another whole, that's 3 quarters away. So, although some of the things in the company are going well, when it relates to Magic the Gathering, it is a slow growth, but there is growth. The comment that really upset me was when he said, the stores are all fine. They're all healthy. Now the problem is there's two parts of the Moxman looking at those comments. There is the Moxman who's rational, who says he just means things like Walmart, the bigger stores that they deal with are all healthy and doing fine. The POS, point of sale, right? Me selling products to you, me getting money back, that's all fine. But Moxman, in his own small world, is thinking of the LGSs I no longer have contact with because they closed. The LGSs that are having staffing issues and can't keep their hours anymore because they don't make enough money to run everything because the prices of some of the Wizards of the Coast products have gone up so high. The fact that they're being strong-armed into making sure they run tournaments a certain way. It drives me nuts, but I know that's not the real issue. I know that's not what Chris is talking about, but I had to put it there on the thumbnail today at the exact moment he said it, which is what the little timer thing is for, because it drove me insane. It's one of those things I just think you're being so callous and insensitive to what's really happening out there. But again, it's from the investor standpoint. So the Moxman's got to shut up and just take the information in and let you guys know what's happening. So, after I heard that stuff and I looked at what they were talking about, they are back on track to being profitable without any more losses. They've tightened everything up. That means you're not going to see Amazon dumps. We're not going to see overproductions. It's still like, we're going to produce what we need, but we know what we need is not what it used to be. Now, that doesn't really mean anything from what we've seen so far about how the secondary market will react with new products coming out. We know the sales are strong in the secondary market, but we also know there's not a huge desire to open new products. And I think Wizards of the Coast is aware of this. They realize that they are creating a price barrier because some of the comments about upcoming products, the pauses he gives us when he's thinking for the answers to tell the investors, he can't lie, but he's being cautious about what he says. He doesn't want it going back to some of the bigger, companies out there that may be investing inside Hasbro, that it may not be a banger of a year. They're saying there's a potential for us to do really well. If we see these continuing trends, we may revise our Q2 results going forward. He gives all kinds of drops that maybe things are going to be great, but at the same time, he holds back on information which may not be. Like when he mentions there's no movies right now, there's no big things coming up other than the new Transformers live animation cartoon movie. Like they have things coming in the hopper, but they're not right away. And he was talking about how, yes, Fallout did very well. Probably one of the best-selling Commander deck series sets ever. But he makes it a point to say it's not like Lord of the Rings. It's not as big of a set. It's not a premier set. This isn't a massive set. This is a compacted, small set, which I bet you they wish they could expand on. I bet you they wish they turned Fallout into a full-size expansion, just like we saw for Lord of the Rings, because I think it would have done phenomenal. I think people underestimate how well that was going to do. Now, what does this mean for the company going forward? Guys, I think Magic is going to get a little bit stale for a little bit. I'm really hoping Modern Horizons 3 and Bloom Burrow smack it out of the park, but the fact he didn't even bring up Bloom Burrow, which I thought was interesting, it's not that far away. Yeah, you might be able, you can get into the Q2 results about upcoming sets, but I was just surprised that it wasn't brought up to the investors as something that it may be appealing to a new age demographic, is what I think they're going to be aiming for. That wasn't brought up, so I'm wondering now if this is a planned surprise because the sales may be better than expected going forward. But it might still be stale in terms of the overall sales for the company. You might see a banger set come out of Bloom Burrow, which means it's popular, well received, but it's not going to have the sales volume of Lord of the Rings. It's just not going to be there. Lord of the Rings was one of those ha-ha moments. But because they didn't lose a lot of money, and they made all the right cuts, overall the stock was well received. I just think we're going to see as Magic, as its own little device inside the company, as its own little wheel, little cog, it's gonna be a little bit dry. I mean, us as players might have a blast, but I think they realize the sales volume is not going to be as high as they expected or had hoped for, but they don't want to tell the investors that right now. That's my opinion, based on the information I got and the kind of way he was talking. So you guys will let me know. Anyway, thanks for stopping by the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. And remember, always bring a friend to Magic. And of course, shop smart, shop S-Smart. Hey guys, here we are. You're at the credits. You're watching all these amazing Patreon names go by. You're thinking about all these people and the fact that they give money to this channel to help support the content creation. You look at the patrons, the YouTube membership members who put it on the line every month. And all I can say is thank you very much. Thanks for allowing me to entertain you all every day. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow. I know, we're at the end. It may not be the ending you were hoping for. You're hoping the villain would die, lose his job, get what's coming to him. Instead, he's fine. Like nothing went wrong. He gets to go on his merry way, probably gets a bonus. This is probably not the ramble jamble that you were expecting. But sometimes things don't work out. This really needs to be like, yeah, we need like the Princess Bride. Humperdinck's gotta pay. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a great one. And remember, my name is Inigo Montoyas. You killed my father, prepare to die. Karma, it'll come get him.